Hi guys, welcome to Auckland, New Zealand. It's a bit of a cozy rainy day here, so I apologize if you can hear the rain. Hopefully it's giving good ambiance and not annoyance. I've been here for about 2 months now and I have had some fun fragrant adventures, so I figured I would pop on here and give you guys a little overview of what my fragrant life looks like these days. So I'm going to split this video into 2 sections. The first section is going to be a haul highlights, my favorite hauls that I've had since I've been here. And the second part, I will take you upstairs and show you my current rotation, including what fragrances I brought with me and some other haul items that didn't really warrant a lot of discussion. So let's jump into the video. I've missed you guys. Let's go. All right, so let's start with my scent of the day, and that is the Black Knight from Francesca Bianchi. This is my first foray into the Francesca Bianchi world, and this was a blind buy. I did my research on what notes I thought I would enjoy, and this one had been compared to Cabochard, so I felt like, well, maybe, that's probably a shoe-in, and I was not disappointed. I really, really love this one. I'm in sort of a leather phase, as you will see by evidenced by some of the other fragrances that I've been wearing and have acquired. And this is a very dry, powdery, rich, earthy, aromatic, dirt-like, but not dirty leather. It does live up to the medieval connotations of the name. It's smoky. It has a sort of campfire feel. And it is evocative of, well, like an elegant knight, like a sexy dude that's outdoorsy but elegant and doing kick-ass stuff. There's something about it that reminds me of Aromatics Elixir, something about that herbaceousness and the vetiver, and I think that there is oak moss and like, I forget. I want to say Artemisia. I'm not exactly even sure what Artemisia smells like on its own, but I have sensory olfactory connotations in my imagination. But it just has a gorgeous woodiness and powderiness. The dry down is really to die for. It is a head turner and quite a statement maker. This is glorious. So that was such a blind buy win. This is the Black Knight from Francesca Bianchi. Next, we have another blind buy from Francesca Bianchi, which, by the way, I do not recommend that you do with this house. Just put that way. This is one that I had been circling around for a long, long time based on the note structure. It seemed like heaven sent. And this is Angel's Dust. This is a powdery, powder puff, makeup-y iris scent. As you may know, I have been in an iris phase for quite some time that I think now is slowly being replaced by a leather phase. And this is really not what I expected. Let me give it a spray. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be this resinous, given that there are notes of tolu and benzoin, but it's more a woody resinous fragrance than it is a powdery iris fragrance to me. I get a lot of sandalwood and balsamic notes. And it's also in the deep, deep dry down, quite a bit dirtier than I expected. I had read and heard that there is quite a bit of naughtiness in here, but I don't know if it's just my skin chemistry in the deep dry down. It's very almost saliva-like, which is, I know that sounds really gross. There is not honey in it, but what it does on my skin is reminiscent of what a honey note does on my skin, which is to say a little bit skankier, naughtier than I generally prefer to wear. That said, it's very, very beautiful. The first several hours are quite enveloping, powdery woodiness. Again, mostly sandalwood and resin on my skin, surprisingly. I'm going to have to play with this one a little bit more. Beautiful, but not what I expected. Certainly not the powdery boudoir essence that I thought that I was going for. It's funny because this one, this seemed like it was going to be a shoe-in. Something that's been really interesting being here in general is testing the fragrances that I brought with me, and also some fragrances that I'm just revisiting again, which we'll get to, that suddenly smell incredible to me, I think based on the climate and what it's doing with the chemistry of the fragrance and the chemistry of my skin. So once I take this one home, I will play with it more and see if I'm getting more of that powdery iris. So anyway, for now, that is Angel's Dust from Francesca Bianchi. All right, so speaking of something that I did a total 180 on since I've been here is Chloe Nomad, the Eau de Parfum. I suddenly love this. I had tried this before. I had a travel spray of it back in San Francisco, and it was just too piercing. It was too sharp. Something about those citrusy elements were elevated in a way that it was a third eye stabby kind of fragrance. I was in store and I had wanted to test Nomad Naturel, and I thought, you know, what the heck, let me give this a spray again too, and fell in love with it, and I had to have it. And it smells fantastic here. I think what it is that I'm getting more of that peach, and it's overall smells a lot smoother than I remember. Those citrus notes are really turned down a notch. So this is such a surprise, and I'm hoping that I can hang on to how I feel about it. We'll see what it performs like back home. I haven't tested this obviously in the climate in New York either, so we'll see. Maybe this will land in one collection versus the other, or I'll reserve it for next time I'm here in Auckland. Yeah, but what a surprise. Yeah, suddenly it just seems way more elevated, super addicting. I'm thinking about this fragrance when I'm not wearing it. It's just bizarre how that happens, isn't it? And I've even sometimes like sprayed it in the air in the room as a room spray, just so I can smell it. And it is such a supremely long-lasting fragrance as well, which is not something I always like, but I appreciate that in a room fragrance. Pleasant surprise, Chloe Nomad. All right, next we have a Supreme Cheapie. I don't know why I gravitated toward this. I saw this in the drugstore and I just kept feeling like I needed to have it for some reason. And so I picked it up. I got it for the equivalent of like, I want to say $10 US, something like that. So it wasn't too big of a risk. And I adore this. This is Maroussia. Or Maroussia, I'm not sure exactly how you say that, by Slava Zev, maybe? This is a Russian fragrance house, fashion house, I want to say, and this is just a soapy aldehydic fragrance. I just find this so addictive. It is that aldehydic thing, but it's got a depth and like acidity, animalic quality at the base. It's like a soapy amber fragrance. And it's nostalgically evocative to a time that I can't pinpoint. I feel like I say that a lot, but I mean, what are fragrances if not transportative, right? I feel like they take us to our past lives sometimes, even if we can't remember what they are. But I find it so comforting and sensual. It's one of those fragrances that has like a fur-like quality. And obviously I'm projecting the heritage of the fragrance, but I do imagine myself an elegant Russian lady in her furs and a red lip in frigid temperatures. I think this smells so much more elevated than the $8 or $10 that I paid for it. And I have been wearing this one a lot to bed because it really gives a comforting cloud of some kind of nostalgic memory to usher you off to dreamland. It's definitely very vintage smelling. Anyway, if you like vintage soapy aldehydic fragrances, this is one to check out, and it's so inexpensive and really just very interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so drawn to this. So that's Maroussia from Slava Zev. Yeah, super interesting. I'm going to touch on this one quickly since it's not technically a perfume, it is a hair perfume. This is the Dyptique Eau Capitale hair mist. It's so pretty. It's a rose chypre fragrance. It's like if Portrait of a Lady and Cartier's La Panthère had a baby. It's fresh, it's rosy, patchouli. with some added depth in there. Not super long lasting as a hair fragrance, but a nice way to begin your day and ensure that your hair smells nice. So yeah, Eau Capitale, the hair mist. Let's have a coffee break. Next up is this travel spray of BDK's Creme de Cuir. Again, because I am in a leather phase, and because this one reminds me very much of my beloved Bulgari Black, which is now, of course, very sadly and tragically discontinued. But this is giving me very similar vibes, a little bit less vanillic and more of that citrusy, bright, pineapple-y essence, but enough to give me that fix. It's powdery, it's musky, it has that gentle suede-like touch. It's not an in-your-face kind of leather. It is a little bit spicy, a little bit woody, really, really smooth. And for me, for now, a reasonable facsimile to Bulgari Black. I'm wondering if I layered this with something that was more of a light powdery vanilla, I could get closer to that Bulgari Black essence. But for now, I'm really liking this. And this came in a little set that came with Tuberose Imperiale and Oud Abromade, which I'm not really going to talk about right now because those I haven't had chance to really play with them, and yeah, I just don't really have thoughts, but they came all together. Anyway, that is Creme de Cuir from BDK. Next up, we have Chanel number 19 Poudre. Poudre? This is a beautiful, clean, fluffy, smooth green iris. We are, of course, here in the Southern Hemisphere, spring going into summer. So this is a perfect, everyday, just crisp, comforting, pick-me-up kind of iris. I'm working my way toward number 19 proper. So this is my gateway. I really love number 19, but I knew that this would be more overtly wearable, particularly in this climate that I'm in right now. It's so beautiful. There is an earthiness about this, but it is an airy, fluffy, cloud-like earthiness. It's like wet soil, but sweetened. Not that this is a sweet fragrance at all whatsoever, but it's as if the wet earth were aerated. It's very clean, musky, and fluffy. This is a happier iris. It is not as somber as some irises tend to be. This feels like iris in the sunshine. I find it super uplifting. Fortunately or unfortunately, the longevity on this is rather poor on my skin, so this is something that I love to wake up and just spray. By the time I've had my coffee and I'm ready to head out the door, I can spray something else. And I'm not sure if it's just because I become anosmic to it or if it really just has poor longevity. And I should mention I have quite a long morning routine, so that's probably like 3 hours from the time I wake up to the time I head out the door. But it is incredibly lovely. Very happy to have this for more of an atmospheric aromatherapeutic purpose. So that is Chanel number 19 Poudre. And now for my most favorite purchase of recent months, maybe possibly all year. This is another one that I had on my wish list for quite some time, and I don't know why I didn't bite the bullet. And for one reason or another, you just... Do you do that? It's like I have something on my wish list, and it's really a priority in my mind. And for whatever reason, I succumb to all these other passing ridiculous whims. Each time I make these other purchases, I'm like, why the heck did I not just buy the thing that I'm thinking about, quasi-obsessing over in my head? It's such a strange phenomenon. Anyway, this is Cuir Velour from Naomi Goodsir. Another leather fragrance. This one has tobacco in it too, but in my mind, it's primarily a leather fragrance. Oh my God. Holy. Y'all, it's so good. Oh my God. This whole line is phenomenal. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this house. I have loved everything I've smelled from Naomi Goodsir, but this was the one that was like head over heels love at first sniff. So this is a boozy leather. It's suede and rum and tobacco. It's resinous, it's smoky, but there is some element of sweetness in there that I can't pinpoint. It's rich, it's unctuous and smooth. It is like a sweetened leather handbag. Not gourmand in any way, but you almost want to put this handbag on a plate with like icing and eat it. It's extremely elegant, totally genderless. Almost powdery, but like a thick powder. It almost feels like there could be orris or something that's giving it that powdery sweetness. But gosh, this feels like being out on a rainy night wearing a thick, heavy leather coat. You spent the evening drinking expensive cocktails, but wound up at a dive bar smoking cigarettes outside. It feels like a velvet suit, incredibly elevated. This is another one that is a bit heavy for where I am right now, but once I'm back into the colder climes for the winter months, this is gonna be a knockout. If you're looking for a leather scent, I urge you to check out Cuirs Velour. This is really a super, super knockout. So this is where it's at. All right, so here we are in my little fragrance nook of my closet. I've put a little candle in here because the light's not great, so hopefully this will illuminate a little bit. Let's just begin over here. This is my travel guide of Mon Guerlain Eau de Parfum Intense. This is another one that is really, really growing on me of late, interestingly. Again, we'll be curious to see how it plays back at home. This is a super cheapie I got at the drugstore here too. It is almond fragrance from Mono Theme that, again, I think I got for like 10-15 bucks. I don't know. I admit I've been using it mostly for a room spray, but it is beautiful. It has been compared to Hypnotic Poison. I haven't actually smelled that one in a long time, but this is a really nice almond fragrance. I love an almond. Again, here's Maroussia that we talked about. Welllllll Muse, the Eau de Parfum. My little Mugler travel sprays of Angel and Alien Goddess Intense, which I love, love, love. This is my travel guide of Coco Mademoiselle Intense. Velour, BDK Possessoir, and then these other travel guys that I talked about. So it's Tuberose Imperial, Creme de Cuir, and Oud Abramad. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about those. We have Obsession for Men, because why not? Allure Eau de Parfum, Chanel No. 19 Poudre, Samsara, the EDP. Is this the EDP? Yes. Samsara EDP. Here's a couple of fun ones from Zara. Zara Frosted Cream. That was a blind buy that I purchased because the notes sounded good on the box. It's very similar to Mont Blanc's Signature. Just a creamy, very sweet, citrusy, fluffy fragrance. It's a fun nighttime fluffy fragrance. Good bedtime scent. This is Zara Nuit, which is also nice, fluffy bedtime scent. Yeah, just like a fluffy almond scent. I actually really like that one. And again, I have been using these kind of as room sprays and like linen sprays just for fun, fluffy, guilty pleasure scents. Eau Capitale Hair Mist, Etat Libre d'Orange Une Amorette, which you've heard me talk about before. Really nice, musky, interesting, woody, quasi-patchouli scent. Toba Color, Serge Lutens Santal Majuscule, the Francesca Bianchi's Angel's Dust and Black Night, Cacharel Lulu. This is actually new to me. I purchased this at the drugstore as well because I needed to know what Lulu was. And I was not disappointed. This is a really vintagey, powdery, indescribable kind of scent. I'll talk more about this one later. Then we have Milano Fragranza Galleria, another iris leather scent. As you can see, I've put quite a dent in this one. This has been kind of my workhorse scent because it's so great to just spray and go. This is a major compliment getter for me too. I was surprised by that actually because it is a leather scent. Not everybody likes that, but this has been, yeah, super compliment getter and just a really easy grab and go. Gorgeous, gorgeous, super elegant fragrance. Love, love, love that one. And then Chloe Nomad EDP. And then another one I picked up at the drugstore. This is Britney Spears Midnight Fantasy. I had never smelled this one before, and I really just wanted to know. I actually had never smelled any Britney Spears fragrance before. And something that's fun about being in Auckland is that different from the States where most perfumes are hidden away behind sales associates and behind glass and everything, especially these days. I spent a lot of time sniffing perfumes at the drugstore actually, and that has been really, really fun to get my nose on stuff that are ubiquitous, but I had just never smelled before. So yeah, this is a fun, sweet fragrance. And then these are adorable Amouage miniatures. I just could not resist. How freaking cute are these? I love miniatures, and these are too much to resist. So my girl Tammy from Tammy Central had sent me very generously a whole bunch of Amouage samples, and it had been a long time since I sniffed especially the original core Amouage fragrances, and I forgot about them, and sniffing them again I just became totally enamored. So now I'm in a full-on Amouage phase, and I've started with getting these because they're just so adorable. And then down here, of course, I have, as always, my mega bag of samples and then just some more samples and decants. I've got Carner Barcelona Remo 11, Rag & Bone Oddity, Tat Libre Fat Electrician. This is Initio's Oud for Greatness. This is Initio Rehab. This is Atomic Rose. I have Side Effect somewhere. I had never smelled Initio fragrances, and I thought I would give them a try. These I got from a great website here called Niche Fragrances. nichefragrances.nz or nichefragrancesnz.com. I can't remember which one it is. Not sponsored, obviously, but they have really great prices on decants, so I figured I would give them a try. So I have them for reference. This is Bottega Veneta Eau de Velour, one of my absolute favorites. This is Delina and Delina exclusive. Okay, these are other ones that I have such problems with at home, but I always bring them with me because I like them in theory, and they smell a billion times better here. So that's been really interesting. Yeah, those are just various rollerballs, Oil Perfumery, Myrrh and Tonka, and some little decants that I brought. Chicago's 4K. These are decants that I made myself. Number 5 Eau Premiere. Oops. What is this? L'Heure Bleue. Yeah, so that is that's what I've been playing with over here. So that's what I've been wearing, reaching for, and acquiring these days. Please let me know what you guys have been reaching for. I do admit that I have a bit of FOMO for missing out on autumn, particularly autumn in New York. It's my favorite time and place. And I mean, you know, obviously wear whatever fragrances whenever you want. But there is something about busting out those first cold weather, like cozy, resinous, darker fragrances. Obviously, I've been doing a little bit of that, but you know, it's that getting into the holiday spirit feeling that feels really trippy for me here. Totally turned around for so many reasons. That's a tale for another day. Regardless, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me as always, and I hope you guys are doing really well. Drop me a line down below. Let's connect in the comments. I will do my best to respond to them in a timely fashion. I will see you in the next video.